Alrighty, so today I'm going to do a bit of a fun video because with the announcement of the USL and their framework of the free division as part of the pro relegation that they're going to do, and they announced the new name for the first division, which is the top tier of USL that will rival MLS in terms of being the top tier of US soccer, being the USL Premier. I want to kind of do a video talking about which teams and specifically which city that potentially will be part of that inaugural season that they're planning to launch in 2028. Now, I listed 20 teams there, and I also got a couple of honorable mention as well. But in reality, there's only going to be 14 teams that looks like is going to be part of that inaugural season of the USL Premier in 2028. But the reason why I chose 20 is that there was talk that they can expand it to 20 teams in the near future. So hence that's why I decided to do that. And what's kind of also interesting with Paul McDermott, the commissioner of USL, have mentioned the fact that in terms of the 14 teams that looks like they're going to enter in the inaugural season of the USL Premier. About 8 or 9 of those teams are already in the USL Championship. The other 5 or 6 of them could be coming from elsewhere. It could also even be expansion team as well that could be in the USL Premier inaugural season as well. So I obviously want to keep that in mind, especially even mention some of the honorable mention of putting teams that are not actually part of the USL level right now, but could definitely have a good shout in terms of being in this USL Premier inaugural season. So, with that being said, let us begin. And first, we want to mention the honorable mention as well. So, I listed 6 teams as the honorable mention. Some honorable mention are Omaha, Chattanooga, Reno, Miami, Dallas, and Vermont. Omaha, of course, currently play in USL League One. That team called Union Omaha. There is plan that they of course are going to be building a new stadium as well. And this is the thing about the USL Premier. One of the thing that they're definitely going to look at when it comes to picking these team is that they will have a soccer specific stadium that is probably close to about 10 to 15,000. It has to be in a pretty big market as well. I'm assuming a lot of these teams are going to be in a pretty big market that doesn't have an MLS team right now. And then the other thing that obviously you want to put these team in the top tier is that they have good fan support, and also these are among some of the best team in the USL Championship as well. They don't want to put like a bottom feeder in there because that wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, again, I decided to I'll definitely mention more of that when I get to talk about some of the teams that I predicted. But yeah, Omaha of course is one of those teams that currently have a USL League One team, and they're planning to build that new stadium. Nothing really concrete has been cut in mind, but they could potentially go into USL Premier. Chattanooga, I'm gonna specifically go with the Chattanooga FC team and not the Red Wolves that play in USL League One as well, because you know the the other team, Chattanooga FC, they also play in a pretty sizable stadium as well. I believe it's home to the University of Chattanooga, if I'm not mistaken. So they could definitely come into the league, even though they're not part of the USL system. Reno, of course, we already have heard that it seems like USL is coming back to Reno. They're building themselves a new stadium as well, which is kind of the reason why the original Reno team kind of failed, because they just didn't get a chance to build that new soccer specific stadium. But now this new Reno team looks like they are going to build themselves a soccer stadium, and there could be a case that Reno could be a market that could go into USL Premier. Miami, of course, they also mentioned that they are going to be building themselves a new stadium all the way down in Homestead. The reason why I don't put Miami kind of right up there is because they kind of already have an existing MLS team, and the fact that Miami FC isn't really one of the more well supported team in the USL Championship. In fact, that's an understatement because they are one of the more poorly attended team in the USL Championship, and I don't know if them going down to Homestead and basically building a new stadium will kind of solve that support from the team. If anything, that probably makes it even worse because if you built your stadium all the way down in Homestead, I mean that's kind of an area that is kind of like a no man's land area in South Florida as well. And then of course Dallas, most of it's like the Garland area. I know this team is called Atletico Dallas, but they are going to be based in the Garland area. But for now, it seems like they're just going to play in the Dallas area. And I will say that no, even though they are planning to build a new stadium in the Garland area, there's no plan in exactly that. Of course, is the case. And knowing that Dallas already have an MLS team, even though I know they don't really play in Dallas, they play in Frisco, which is like 30 miles north of Dallas. It is still within the Dallas Fort Worth metro area, so maybe that's why they probably won't get it. And then I want to throw Vermont in there as well because the USL League Two team has been very successful, and then even their college team did very successful as well, especially just a couple years winning the national championship as well. There's feels like there's a lot of support at least in the New England area when it comes to soccer. We always mention about New England and how in the Boston area that it feels like it's a very underrated soccer city. There's a lot of people that like soccer around that area, but let's also not forget about Vermont and also what's going on in Portland, Maine right now with their team having really strong attendance and strong support as well. So with that being said, let us actually begin by looking at some of the teams that I predicted that will be, and again, some of these teams I think will be pretty much locked. In fact, I think the on this category, I feel like this is almost kind of like a ranking of what I believe is the team that is pretty much almost automatically going to be locked heading into the inaugural season, and will most likely be the team that will be heading into the inaugural season of the USL Premier. And the first team I'll mention is Louisville City. So Louisville City is pretty much locked that they're going to go in. I mean, this is a team that have perhaps the best USL championship stadium. I mean, that stadium can rival any MLS stadium today, and that with the way that they're also is a team that has been pretty much been very good ever since they came into the league. Like ever since when Orlando City moved to MLS and Louisville City was kind of like that replacement as well. This has been a strong team in the USL Championship, and the fan support is definitely there as well. And add to the fact that Louisville is pretty good market as well. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a big market, but it's definitely a good mid-sized market as well. But what really drives this is the fact that this team is good. They have good fan support, and you literally have the one of the if not the best soccer specific stadium in the USL level, and this is kind of the stadium that really kind of pioneers of other teams getting themselves soccer specific stadium as well. No doubt Louisville is going to be a lock to be in the USL Premier in their inaugural season. The second team that I think is also pretty much going to be locked of going into the USL Premier in 2028 is Sacramento Republic. So again, this one is pretty much a lock mainly because they are working on building that Rail Yards Stadium. They recently just had that ceremony in terms of putting the shovel to the ground in the groundbreaking ceremony, and it seems like that stadium looks like it is going to be done before the 2028 timeline, which is where the USL Premier will launch their time. And knowing the fact that Sacramento has been just screwed over so much by MLS, and I think a couple years ago with them kind of getting screwed over one last time, it was pretty clear that it feels like this ownership group is just focused mainly on USL, and especially with the way that now that this USL Premier has been launched, I think that with the launch of the USL Premier, this absolutely kill any chances that Sacramento will ever come to MLS. I mean, I know there are going to be still some people say that maybe there's still a chance that Sacramento can creep themselves back into the expansion kind of talk, but I don't think so. I think they're fully committed to be in this league, and the new stadium that they of course are building is definitely going to go down as one of the better soccer specific venue in the USL level, and especially can also expand to. Originally, they're going to put around like 15,000 seats. It can definitely expand it to 20,000 if they are going to be in the USL Premier, which most likely it's going to be the case as well. And just like Louisville, Sacramento has a very strong support. They lead the attendance for the past couple of years as well, and not to mention the fact that this team, just like Louisville City, has rarely had a bad season. This team has always been a competitive team every single season in the USL Championship. And then number three is the defending USL champion for this year, and that of course is Pittsburgh Riverhound. So I think the Riverhounds, they're getting a lot more support these last couple of years than what we ever seen, and winning of course plays a big part of that as well. They definitely had record amount of people that show up to their games, but besides Sacramento, Louisville, Pittsburgh, out of these three teams, Pittsburgh is probably the biggest market out there. I mean, Pittsburgh already have professional team in other sports. They've already have the Penguins of NHL, the Steelers of NFL, and the Pirates of the MLB as well. And especially with the way that just like Sacramento, they're already working on renovating their stadium as well. They're looking to renovate and expand that stadium to 15,000, and that obviously has heavy in mind of them potentially getting promoted into the USL Premier, and part of that team that will be in there in the inaugural season. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh is probably going to be there, and just like Sacramento, Louisville, I think this one is pretty much a lock as well. Then we look at number four. This is New Mexico United. So New Mexico United, for the past couple of years, they've been wanted to build themselves their own soccer specific stadium. They're still playing in a baseball stadium nowadays, but still they do still get pretty good support, and especially with them eventually will find a way to approve that soccer specific stadium that they've been wanting to do for a very long time. There's no doubt. I think New Mexico is going to go into the USL Premier as well. I mean, I know Albuquerque might not be considered a big market, but with how strong the support has been with this team, and this team also have been pretty good for most season as well. I don't see how New Mexico United doesn't get into the USL Premier, especially once they finally approve that their new stadium. That seems like it's going to be also around the 10,000 seat and 15,000 mark that Paul McDermott want to see these USL Premier team to have for their inaugural season. And then at number five, it's going to be Detroit City. So Detroit, just like Sacramento, they were once a team that looked like they were going to go to MLS. There's been a lot of talks that Detroit was going to go, but eventually it didn't quite work out. And then you have this team called Detroit City, a team that's kind of like a community based team for a while, a local support kind of team that eventually worked their ranks now all the way up to the USL Championship. And knowing the fact that now there is also plans that they are going to be built themselves a new 15,000 seat stadium as well. Detroit City is also another team that I think could be pretty much a lock of going into the USL Premier. I mean, the other thing that really favors Detroit, just like I said about Pittsburgh, is Detroit is definitely in one of the largest market without an MLS team, and with the way that they're building a soccer specific stadium, a new one that is, and with this team, always have very strong support from the fan base as well. I can definitely see Detroit City going in to the USL Premier in the inaugural season as well. And then at number six, it's going to be the Oakland Roots. So my local team, if you want to say, when it comes to USL Championship, I've been to a lot of Oakland Roots game during my time. I've also been to Sacramento Public game a couple of times as well in my sport soft series. But yeah, the Oakland Roots, there definitely is a case that they could go in the USL Premier. Yes, I know I've said before that maybe the USL Premier might not look for teams that already have an existing MLS team within the market. And in the case of the Bay Area market, you already have the San Jose Earthquakes. But the reason why I still pick Oakland being there is one, they are thinking about building themselves a new soccer specific stadium. That Howard Terminal site that originally the Ace was supposed to build their baseball stadium. Now it looks like the Roots are trying to work very hard to secure that site. And if they do secure that site, there is no doubt that there's a chance that they are going to really booster themselves to be in the USL Premier, especially with the way that stadium that they're building. It's a very ambitious one, 25,000 seats, almost the same capacity as most MLS stadium, and especially with the design of that stadium as well, might rival some MLS stadium if that plan does complete. And then of course, in case if that plan doesn't materialize, they're obviously looking for different sites. They still have the Coliseum there as well, and I know the Coliseum is a bit cavernous and obviously a bit outdated as well. With the way that again, with the way that it feels like they are going to try to put teams that are in big market as well, and with the way that Oakland lost all their team, it kind of makes sense that you want to have a top tier team back in the Oakland area, and well, with the way that they have also pretty good strong support, and that it seems like the new Howard Terminal site could be a possibility. Again, I think if that is going to be a possibility, and if they are able to somehow work the deal off, then there's no doubt that I think the Roots will get a chance to be play in the USL Premier. Now, I don't know if it's going to be done in time. It's probably not going to be done in time when the 2028 season as well. They probably might have to play at the Coliseum for a couple of games, but once it is done, it will definitely be considered to be a prime stadium and probably one of the best stadium in the USL Premier uh, as well. I mean, I recommend for people to actually check out that stadium of how beautiful it is. But again, the big if now of this deal is that they need to, of course, trying to get that site, and they're actually facing. I think they're also facing a real estate kind of company that is also trying to get that site. So we'll see who, of course, will win that bid in terms of getting that site. That it's hard to believe that was the site where once the Oakland A's was supposed to build their new stadium, and obviously it didn't really quite work out whatsoever. And then at number seven, I'm gonna say San Antonio. So San Antonio, this is a team that for a long time has had a very good soccer specific stadium. I mean, Toyota Stadium has been a really good soccer specific stadium. It's so good the fact that the U.S. men's national team played a January camp there once as well, and it sold out too in that game as well. So the soccer culture in San Antonio has definitely been huge. And San Antonio would definitely have had an MLS team if it wasn't for Austin, of course, getting one. If Austin didn't get an MLS team, I would have definitely think San Antonio would eventually come to MLS. But alas, San Antonio are still in the USL Championship. There's already plans that they could actually expand Toyota Field as well. Well, if they are going to be going into the USL Premier, and I think there could be a case that if they do go into it, and not to mention it is a team that is pretty well supported and as well, and a team that have also recently done pretty well as well. I would think that this is a team that you could also say that could go into it. And San Antonio is definitely one of the bigger market doesn't have an MLS team. It's actually one of the biggest market that only have one professional team. It's hard to believe that the San Antonio Spurs is the only professional team in the city, even though San Antonio is one of the biggest city, not just in Texas, but in the US as well, especially the metro area as well. One of the bigger ones in the country as well. Now, at number eight, I'm going to say Phoenix Rising. Now, this one I think is ranked a little bit lower, and again, I'm thinking that this is kind of like almost like a rankings that I'm doing, but I'm putting Phoenix Rising a little bit lower. A couple of years ago, this would have definitely been a lock, and especially with the way that Phoenix is still thinking about getting an MLS team in the near future as well. This one does kind of put a little bit in doubt of what's going to happen with the Rising. Is this going to be similar to what we see with Indy 11 as well? And by the way, for those that wonder, and maybe this is a little spoiler alert, I actually did not put Indianapolis on this list as well. And the reason why I didn't put them on is that with the way that it feels like MLS is very serious of expanding to Indianapolis, and with a new group definitely looking to build a new stadium to go into MLS. That pretty much is going to kill any hope of Indy 11 maybe going to MLS. And there's even talk that they're going to be unfortunately end up in the same situation as San Diego Loyals was just last year with the way that San Diego FC came into town. They kind of really took over the market, and the Loyals kind of suffer and eventually folded because of that. That might be the same case with Phoenix Rising as well. Especially the other problem with Phoenix Rising, at least in the last couple of years, they have had some issue with the ownership group as well, especially with the stadium issue. They moved to numerous sites right now. Originally they were supposed to play in Tempe, but now they decided to play in an area where it's right next to the airport. And I've heard a lot of Phoenix Rising fans have not been very happy in terms of the new location. It's definitely not as accessible as the Tempe location that they originally play at as well. And there's also no real plans in terms of expanding that stadium as well. So yeah, that of course does put a bit of doubt whether or not if Phoenix Rising could actually get themselves into the USL Premier. I mean, I'm pretty sure USL really want this team to be in the top tier, because the Phoenix area. I mean, if you talk about all these market, the Phoenix area is the biggest market out there that I think right now does not have an MLS team. I mean, this is a huge metropolitan area. There's a reason why the Coyotes for a long time stay in this area and didn't move, because of how much money and how much revenue that it can generate into the league. But because of the way that the Risings are having a little issue with their ownership group and the stadium situation, not ideal as we've seen a couple of years. Wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they might not even go into it. And I think the new MLS team that is going to be in the Phoenix area, that could really play a huge part as well. Maybe the Rising might not actually rise themselves up to the USL Premier. No pun intended. As as well. Then at number nine, let's say Tampa Bay Rowdies. So I think it kind of would be stupid the league decide not to put the Rowdies in, considering the USL um for office is in the Tampa area, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. It's been such a historic club as well, and also a pretty good supported team as well, and a team that has its up and downs as well. But I will say that the one thing about the Rowdies that maybe prevent them to go in. I mean, the other thing that will definitely get them in is the fact that the Tampa area is one of the biggest market in the country, and market size really matters in terms of these teams coming into the USL Premier. But I think one of the issue with the Rowdies, obviously, they're still trying to figure out the stadium issue. I believe they actually decided to stay in their current stadium, even though there was talk that they potentially were going to get kicked out because the city of St. Pete decided to get rid of that stadium for some development reason. But now it seems like that's not going to be the case. Looks like they're going to renovate that stadium and maybe make it ready enough to be a soccer specific stadium that could host USL Premier game. But yeah, Tampa is definitely one of the team that if they can get sort out the stadium situation as well, I would definitely say that they could definitely be promoted into the USL Premier as well. Now at number 10, this one is going to be a little bit of a tough one. And there are a couple of ones that I think might not happen, but I really want Charleston Battery potentially come into the USL Premier. Even though obviously the issue with Charlton, of course, going into the USL Premier is the fact that the stadium that they're currently playing, Patriot Point, there's no talks of the fact that they're expanding that stadium, and that stadium is relatively small. It's only 5,000 seats, but this is definitely one of the more well supported team in the USL Championship, and a team that has been pretty good in the USL Championship in the past couple of years as well. But like I said, the issue with the way that they're not really opening, saying that they're expanding the stadium, and not to mention the Charleston area, it's not really a major market as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the USL is going to try to put a team in the Carolinas. Most likely, I can definitely see North Carolina FC maybe the team that they're going to be target to get into the USL Premier in their inaugural season instead of Charleston Battery, because North Carolina FC, where they play in the Raleigh area, it's definitely a pretty big market, and not to mention they have a much bigger soccer specific stadium than what Charleston has in Patriot Point, and a stadium that have regularly host college soccer championship as well. So yeah, I do think that as much as I really want Charleston to get there because of the support that they have, and also the success they have in the league. The thing that doesn't really kind of take their box is the fact that the market is not very big, and the fact that there's really no plan in terms of them building or expanding their stadium, which is kind of one of the things that a lot of these USL Premier team potentially will have to do if they want to be part of the inaugural season of the USL Premier. Then we look at number 11. Let's say Las Vegas Lights. So again, Las Vegas could be a big possibility because for a long time MLS has been wanting to expand to Las Vegas. They're kind of like other leagues around the US where they really want Las Vegas to be a prime market, and obviously Las Vegas is going to get the A's relatively soon as well. Now, when it comes to soccer, even though there's been a lot of talks that they were going to expand to Las Vegas, that has really kind of gone radio silence in the last couple of years, and most likely it's to a point where it's pretty much dead in terms of the hope of an MLS team coming to the Las Vegas area. But there's still a chance where Las Vegas could get a top tier team, and the Lights. It's kind of interesting in terms of their situation where they are playing in sort of a soccer specific stadium that was once a minor league stadium but converted into a soccer specific stadium, and they are thinking about improving it as the way go. But they also are looking to try to build themselves a new stadium as well. Especially from what I heard, it seems like they have kind of sold their ownership group kind of sold the rights a little bit of the stadium that they're currently playing. So there could be a case where if they do decide to get themselves a soccer specific stadium as well, there could be a case where the USL Premier could target the Vegas area. And even though I know Las Vegas, they haven't really been a good team during their time coming into to USL, and their support has been kind of mediocre as well. Because of the fact this is in the Las Vegas market, and because of the fact that for a long time this is an area that's been always targeting a professional and a top tier team, it kind of makes sense the fact that the league would really target this team, and we'll think that this will definitely be a team that will generate a lot of revenue just because they're based in the Las Vegas area. Then we look at number 12, say Rhode Island. So Rhode Island, this is definitely a team that I think could potentially be a possibility. And the reason why I say that is the fact that they just recently built themselves that soccer specific stadium. Ty Water is definitely one of the better soccer specific stadium that we've seen in the country, and the fact that there is still a chance that they could expand that stadium as well. And not to mention, I've already mentioned the New England area, how much of a hotbed it is. Rhode Island definitely have gone a lot a good support, and it also kind of helps the fact that they were good from the beginning. Like in their very first year, they almost did a Chicago Fire of being the first USL team, or one of the rare USL team to win in the USL Cup in their expansion season. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that Rhode Island would get a team, and especially being close to the Boston area as well. It's kind of the way the stadium is. It's kind of situated right between the Boston and the Providence area as well. And knowing that New England is such a hotbed in terms of soccer, it kind of makes sense that Rhode Island probably could potentially go into the USL Premier as well. Now at number 13, let's say Birmingham. So Birmingham, I think could get a team in the USL Premier, mainly because again, they do have a stadium as well, albeit it's not a soccer specific stadium. They're actually sharing with UAB in terms of that new protective stadium as well. But it's a good sizable stadium where you can definitely host USL Premier game as well. The only issue I will say with Birmingham is the fact that I mean the fan support is definitely there, but it's not as good as other team. And Birmingham is kind of like a mid tier kind of market as well. And the stadium itself, it's not a soccer specific stadium. That's what really kind of hurts Birmingham chances because of the way that Paul McDermott really want these USL Premier team to all have soccer specific stadium. So yeah, that might of course hurt it, unless of course if Birmingham decided to maybe move out of protective stadium and maybe build themselves their own soccer stadium in the near future as well. Now at number 14, let's say Colorado Springs. So I think Colorado Springs could get a team in the USL Premier because they already have themselves a soccer specific stadium as well. The one that they built is definitely one of the more nicer looking one in the USL Championship as well, and I've heard that it can definitely expand in the future as well. And not to mention, since you're pretty close to the Denver area as well, and the fact that Colorado Spring, the support of this team is definitely there, especially in the about 2 years ago when they went up to win USL championship as well. I would definitely think there's a chance that Colorado Springs could get themselves in the USL Premier as well. All the boxes definitely take the fact that they've already have a soccer specific stadium that could be one of the best in the USL Premier. They've already are in a market that is pretty close to the Denver market, so it's a pretty big market. And then of course they also have the fan support as well. So at number 15, go with an expansion team. So this is where I'm starting getting to talk about teams that are just kind of being expanded recently, or teams that actually are in the USL League One. Because I know it might sound crazy to say that some USL League One team can get promoted straight away into the USL Premier, but there could be a possibility that could be the case. In 15, I put Jacksonville there, and one of the things I will say with this new league, I know people will maybe complain the fact that there may be too many teams in certain states. California, I already picked two, and by the end of this video, I'll mention there's a third California team that could be there. And then the same with Florida as well. If Jacksonville does come in, that means there's going to be two Florida team out there. But with the way that both Florida and also California is among the most popular state, and the same with Texas as well. I don't mind the fact that they decide to have multiple team there. It's not going to be oversaturating as some people might think. But yeah, I think Jacksonville could definitely have a team. You know, Jacksonville, with them potentially they think about building themselves a soccer specific stadium as well, and the fact that Jacksonville is a pretty big market as well, and a market that used to have an NASL team as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe think about putting them in the USL Premier as well. Even though I know some people will say, "How in the world do I pick Jacksonville in there and not put Miami in there?" Again, the problem with Miami is the fact that yes, I know they're building themselves a soccer specific stadium, but because of the way that there's not really a lot of support with the team, and the stadium location is way down there in Homestead. That doesn't feel like it's a very good location to be. It's a weird location that they decide to pick that as well, and you also don't want to see in the inaugural season in the USL Premier, where you see a lot of games have empty seats as well. And Miami is definitely one of the team that has that problem. I don't think that might be the case with Jacksonville, especially when they came into the league. Now, whenever you have a new USL team coming into the league, there's going to be definitely some good support, and I'm pretty sure there's already a pretty good support down there in Jacksonville with their new team, Sporting Jacks. Then we look at number 16, and now I'm gonna go to some cities that haven't got a well, this is actually a team that have got a team in the past. Did I spell Oklahoma wrong? I think I did. Yeah, I spelled Oklahoma wrong for the L here. Yeah, Oklahoma City is definitely a team that could potentially go to the USL Premier. And OKC have had a team before with the energy, but obviously that team is kind of being in hiatus right now. And the fact that now that there's talks, the fact that they're going to be building themselves a soccer specific stadium in the near future. Looks like the 10,000 seat stadium around the Bricktown area. That would definitely give a big boost that Oklahoma City could come into the USL Premier. And OKC is definitely a good market as well to have a USL Premier team. Probably even stronger than what Tulsa is. I know some people want Tulsa to maybe get it, but at the end of the day, I think with the market and also the soccer stadium, I don't think Tulsa is really thinking about building themselves a soccer stadium that could be top tiers in the USL Premier. OKC is definitely do that as well, and that I think will make a huge difference of them potentially going to the USL Premier. Then at number 17, I'm gonna go with Portland Hearts of Pines. So you knew this was coming. I mentioned before with the New England area being an area that is a hotbed when it comes to to soccer. Portland Hearts of Pine. This is by far the most supported team in the USL League One. The current stadium that they play, they just recently renovated as well. There could be a case that they maybe even renovate that stadium a little further to play in the USL Premier. But yeah, I would say it's the same thing I said about Vermont because of the support being very strong up there, and it's pretty clear that they really love soccer up there in Maine as well. Yeah, I can definitely see them getting a USL Premier team. Even though I know the market size, Portland, Maine is definitely one of the smaller market that could get there. But again, because of the support that is out there and the fact that they seems like they are already have a decent stadium that could definitely further expand depending on circumstances. I can definitely see this USL League One team potentially coming into USL Premier. And then at number 18 is a team that just entered the USL League One this year, and that of course is Boise, most specifically Athletic Boise. That is now the reason why I picked Boise. There's a couple of things that checks the mark for Boise to potentially go to USL Premier. Boise is definitely one of the most fast growing city within the country as well, and not to mention they've already been very ambitious, at least in their first season of playing in a 10,000 seat soccer specific stadium in the Boise area. That definitely checks the mark in terms of them going to the USL Premier. And you also kind of want a team kind of in the Northwest area, yeah, in the USL Premier. I feel like you want to have the USL Premier spread around where there's going to be teams in different part of the region as well. And I know Boise is not considered to be in the Pacific Northwest, but it's still kind of in that range as well. And that again, just the way that because they got themselves this new soccer specific stadium that can hold 10,000 and can even expand it in the near future as well. And I wouldn't be surprised this might be also one of the more supported team in the USL League one as well, because again, for a long time I always talk about in the Northwest region that they really love soccer up there, and I think that's going to be the case in the Boise area as well. I think the Boise area, with how fast grown it's been in recent year, it's been dying for a professional team, and this is definitely a chance for them to show out and make the case that they could definitely go into the USL Premier. And then at number 19 is a team that actually have not enter the USL yet, but they are planning to do so in the near future, and that of course is Milwaukee. So Milwaukee could potentially go in there, and in fact they could just jump straight into the USL Premier. Again, I talked about before where Paul McDermott is not just going to select teams that is going to base on the USL Championship. He's going to also select teams that are kind of expansion team that goes into the USL Premier as well. And I think Milwaukee is definitely a location to do so, especially with the way that Milwaukee is building themselves a 15,000 seat stadium in the near future, and the fact that Milwaukee, it's a pretty big area as well, and a pretty big market in general. I would definitely see that they could definitely go into USL Premier, and they might be one of those teams that Paul McDermott have mentioned as expansion teams that is not in the USL right now, but definitely could go in the near future. They could just jump straight into the USL Premier. And then last but not least, at number 20, missing Orange County. So again, I do think that the USL would love to have a team in the SoCal region. I mean, I mentioned before they've already potentially will have team in the NorCal region, but they would definitely want to have one in the SoCal region as well. The closest one, of course, is Orange County, and especially with the way that Orange County have just recently announced that they're going to expand their current stadium as well, and adding more amenities and more VIP kind of area. That feels like it's a sign of a team that definitely is looking to push for USL Premier. And with the way that this team is also pretty well supported as well. I mean, they just have record amount of attendance in the last couple years as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Orange County might be one of those teams. I mean, not a lot of people might talk about it, but again, as I said throughout this video, it's all about when it comes to picking these teams. It's not just about the stadium itself and also the fan support and how good the team is. And Orange County have been okay throughout the past couple of years in the USL as well. But it's also about the marketing side, and also about an area where you're going to generate revenue for this new league. And Orange County is definitely going to be an area that I think will generate revenue, especially in that SoCal region as well. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of me talking about USL Premier team that I predicted that could come into the inaugural season as well. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of this video, and do you agree with this list? And let me know in the comments below which other cities or teams that currently play in the USL could definitely get themselves as one of the 14 teams that could be heading into the inaugural season in 2028. I'm very fascinated to see how this promotion relegation is going to be. And I'm also very fascinated to see, I mentioned before, it feels like what the USL is doing is kind of similar to what we see with the NFL and the AFL did back in the 60s, where, this other league has decided to rival the main top tier league for a while now for first division and top tier superiority, that I wonder whether or not if this is so successful enough where maybe a merger could be in talk in the near future. I mean, I know it might sound crazy to say, and it's especially the way that it feels like there is definitely a civil war that is brewing between the USL and MLS. Both of these leagues don't really like each other, and they don't really see eye to eye with each other most of the time. I'm very fascinated to see how it's going to be, and I'm also very excited to see how the inaugural season is going to look like as well. But as I said, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below what do you think of this list, and if there's any teams that I didn't mention, or even any cities I didn't listed here that could be a good case of jumping into the USL Premier as well. Let me know in the comments below as always. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.